John, had you ever heard of relationship OCD before we met?
No, not at all. I thought you were making it up.
Do you understand what it is now, though?
Yes, I do.
How would you describe it?
So it's like you're in a relationship and suddenly you start having all these intrusive thoughts about, is this the right person for me? Do I find them attractive enough? You're obsessing over whether or not you're in the right relationship.
And it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And I wrote a whole book about it.
Yes, you did.
That comes out next year. Obviously, like, we all have unwanted thoughts like that sometimes. But if the thoughts get really stuck, if they cause you intense distress and you spend hours spiraling about them, you might be dealing with more than typical relationship doubts. You might have relationship OCD, which is also called ROCD.
NoCD is the world's leading provider of OCD treatment. All of their licensed therapists truly understand OCD and specialize in treating it with ERP.
Therapy with NoCD is 100% virtual, covered by insurance for over 155 million Americans, and includes support between sessions, so you're never facing OCD alone.
To learn more about starting OCD therapy with NoCD, go to nocd.com and book a free call to learn more about how they can help. That's nocd.com.
As someone who has been in and out of therapy since I was 4 years old and is a mental health advocate, a relationship coach, I'm constantly being hit up by my friends for therapist recommendations.
Seriously, you should get a cut of you should be like a therapist agent.
But what's so hard is that, like, people have different insurance plans, and a lot of therapists don't take insurance. And so, like, while I know some wonderful people, they're not, like, going to be the best fit for everyone. And also, you have to find a therapist in your state. That's why it's so awesome that Rula exists, which is a healthcare company that partners with over 15,000 therapists and psychiatrists nationwide, letting you have a personalized solution and find the right therapist for you without having to do so much heavy lifting you give up on the search.
Therapy changed my life, and that's what Rula wants to do for you.
And Rula is committed to supporting you every step of the way, from finding the right therapist to helping you schedule appointments and monitoring your progress.
Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. So head on over to rula.com/starter to get started today. After you sign up, they ask you where you heard about them from.
Please support our show and tell them our show sent you. Go to rula.com/starter and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares. Welcome back to Starter Marriage, a show where we examine modern marriage from every angle, including our own relationship. I'm Allison Raskin. I'm a New York Times bestselling author, relationship coach, and mental health advocate who convinced my husband, John, to do the show with me.
And I am Allison's husband, John. And I am a writer, policy researcher, and I have become totally addicted to downloading grocery coupons on my Pavilions app. Now I know what some of you younger people are thinking. You're thinking, this old geezer, this guy, he's talking about coupons. This is interesting to him. I just went to the club last night. Nope. Let me tell you, when you see the price going down at the register, that's better than any free shots at the club.
The one time that I lost my cool while my mom was dying involved going to a CVS and them not. I went to pick up prescriptions and things for my mom, and the system wasn't working to take my phone number to, like, give the discount.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's on you because your system's not working.
Right.
Shouldn't you still apply me the discount? And they were like, no. And then I got like tossed back between a couple people. That at one point I was that lady in the CVS that was like, my mom is dying and you won't even honor the discount code. So it is an emotional ride.
Absolutely. Coupons, I mean, that's why they do them. They do them to manipulate your emotions, and that's it.
But you see what I'm saying, that it's not my fault.
No, I understand. That's a you problem.
Their system was down. They should still honor whatever it would have been if they had my extra savings card number.
Absolutely, I'm with you.
Thank you. And then
I'm
I had to
completely
keep
with you.
going back. It was mortifying.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Do you remember from that time when I had to take Sugar to the vet? And it was this like awful situation where there was like only like 5 parking spots and they were really narrow. And this one lady was parking in between her like big Mercedes in between 2 spots. So taking up 2 spots, right? And she was in her car. And so there's nowhere else to park. You have to park in the spots because of like just the geography of it. And so I'm like honking at her to move, just like back up and go in your space so that I can also go in. And so finally I like honk once, twice, another time. She's not doing it. And I can't go in and bring Sugar on time for her appointment until I park. And so she steps out of the car and she goes, "My dog is sick. I'm at the vet. I'll get you, I'll change the car like in a few minutes." And I was like, "Lady, we're all at the vet. All of our dogs are sick. That's why you go to the vet. That's not a you specific issue." And she just said, she got back in. She didn't move her car.
You responded like that?
Yes, I said, "We're all at the vet."
That's like, I feel like become a mantra in our home. We're all at the vet.
You're all at the vet.
Yeah. We're all going through something right now.
Yeah. Like, I'm just like showing up to the vet to see like what the vibes are. Like, no, like we're all here for the same exact reason. Just like have courtesy.
Well, we have a very strategic episode for everyone today. We're going to be talking about how we plan to raise our son and if we have any differences in opinions on how to go about doing such.
And, we're going to decide today how we're going to stick to it.
No matter what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you guys will hold us to it. But before we get into all of that, we have to do everyone's favorite segment, Marriage Moment TM.
Finally, you did something different.
That was my favorite one.
Yeah.
Of all time?
Wow. Of all time, Travis?
Yeah, all time.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's so exciting for me.
It was really great. And you've had a rough couple
I've had
weeks.
a rough patch. Yeah.
And you were doubting yourself. And I think you should feel good about this one today.
Thank you. I'm going to retire now. Go out with a bang.
Yeah.
So my marriage moment, again, I'm, however many 20-something episodes in, I'm bending the rules a little bit. It's more like moments that symbolize one of the reasons. I shouldn't say this, but one of the reasons I love you, because I'm just going to enable you. But
nice.
The problem, okay, so we've discussed before that you have a lot of characters that you do.
Right.
You have a lot of guys.
Yeah, there are guys in our house, yeah.
And so this moment is about one guy who is the guy that doesn't have anywhere to sleep. And he's always sort of looking for a place to crash.
Yeah.
And so, like, we'll just be getting ready for bed and suddenly, like, you'll transform into that guy.
Right, that guy.
And I can kind of tell, honestly, just from a change in your physicality, that you've, like, become that guy. Mm-hmm. And you're always like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And, like, in the backstory, the dogs are yours, which makes no sense.
Sugar's mine, yeah.
Yeah, no, hey, that's so rude to Phantom. You always act like they're your dogs.
This is a guy. This isn't me. This is some guy. This is the guy who needs a place to crash for the night.
And like, part of the guy's personality is that, like, it's not enough that, like, I, like, a stranger, offer you my couch.
Right.
Like, this guy's like, I gotta sleep in the bed.
Only the best.
Yeah.
He's got back problems.
Yeah. So, like, he's a guy who's, like, trying to ask, like, can he just, like, crash here just for a little bit? But, like, he's gotta sleep in the bed.
Yeah.
And I just really appreciate the commitment to the bit.
Yeah.
And sort of the richness of the character that you've built.
Yeah.
And that, like, that he's recurring.
Absolutely. No, that guy is, he expects a lot of people.
Yeah.
For a guy that doesn't have a place to go
Right.
and just kind of uses your home to crash.
Right.
But you're very nice to that guy.
Yeah.
You like that guy.
He's less offensive to me than some of the other guys.
Yeah. But he definitely insists on that
You're
he
right.
gets the bed and,
Right.
he gets to spread out and stuff. And, if you're going to give him a place to sleep, it should be nice. You can't just give him just garbage place to sleep or invite him into your bed and he can't kind of spread his wings,
All right.
You might as well just give it the whole thing. It was just nice of you to that guy.
Thank you. So that's my marriage moment.
All right. So my marriage moment is that it's many moments. It's more of a dynamic, if you will.
Interesting. So similar theme.
Right. Which is that you are the first person that I have ever been with in a romantic relationship
Oh, no.
where I have repeatedly gotten in trouble because I assumed you knew what you were talking about.
You shouldn't do that.
This is like, Allison is like a very smart person, and I get in trouble all the time for her being like, you can't assume I know what I'm talking about. Like the other day, I was like, I saw this Dubai chocolate stand, and Allison loves that Dubai chocolate. And I was like, oh, this is so nice. I'm going to get something for Allison. And then I texted her. I was like, hey, what do you want? I'm getting you something. She said, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't think it's sanitary or something. I was like, all right. So I got myself this like delicious strawberry thing and
fresh strawberries
with
It was
chocolate and
unbelievable.
pistachios over. So good. I go home and she's like, why didn't you get me that? Your pregnant wife. I was like, I literally texted you and you said no. And you're like, why did you think I knew what I was talking about?
I wasn't at the stand. I didn't understand what was going on. I thought that they were just selling knockoff Dubai chocolate bars.
No.
I didn't know there was fresh fruit. I didn't know that there was a whole elaborate thing. I didn't know the quality of what was going on. And the fact that you got yourself one and didn't get me one, knowing full well that I'm an idiot. I was like one of the maddest I think I've ever been at you.
I know.
I was really upset.
And I just like routinely, like most women are like, stop mansplaining to me. I know what I want. Don't like assume I don't know what I want. Allison repeatedly is like, stop assuming I know what I'm talking about. You know what I like and want and just do it regardless and just sort of ignore whatever I'm saying.
Like you should, like I make a lot of bad calls. And so I need you there to be like, Allison, you won't like that. Don't get that.
Right.
Or like, that's not how that works.
Right.
Like, for example, with the painting of the nursery.
Yeah.
I was like, we got to get the paint. We got to get the
Oh
paint.
my God. Oh my God. This is so funny.
Because I thought that you went to the paint store, you told them what color you wanted, and then they ordered the paint. And who knows how long that would take. I had no idea that at... Dwayne Edwards?
Dunn Edwards, yeah.
Dunn Edwards. They mix the paint for you right there.
At paint stores, they do that.
All paint
Yeah,
stores?
oh my God. Yes, you go and they mix the paint for you. That's how paint works.
I had no idea.
You made me go weeks before. I was like, why is she so obsessed with getting the paint so early? And she thought there was going to be a multi-weeks while we waited for the paint. She even corrected the guy. He's like, all right, I'm grabbing this. She's like, no, we want a certain color. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to make the color for you.
And then I went, what?
And then it dawned on me that I'd been assuming that Allison knew what she was talking about.
And that was a mistake.
And that was a mistake.
Like, always question, right?
Right.
Because sometimes I will know, but you should never assume.
Right. But sometimes you explicitly say, I want this, or I don't want this. And so it's a little confusing for me to be like, no, she doesn't know what she wants.
Right. That's where you should live. Especially when it comes to something as obvious as chocolate and strawberries.
Right.
In what world would I not want that, honey?
That's why I was shocked.
And then you walk in just eating your
So
sweet
good.
treat.
It was so good. I even gave you a little
Just
taste.
enough to know what I'd missed out on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was really upset.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Because I get, like, as I've explained to you, I view myself as being highly intelligent about a lot of things.
Yes, you
But
are.
I have some major gaps.
What you explained it to me the other day. You said explain it to me like you explained it to me the other day.
Something like, I was like, I like assume that what dumb people don't know, I do know, but that I don't know what dumb people do know. And that's sort of the barometer for how you should,
Right.
If it's a high level thing, I'm giving you advice on Substack. I'm giving you advice on how to navigate interpersonal relationships. I'm talking about politics. Like, yeah. But if it's like,
any idiot will know this.
I don't know it.
Right. All right. Well, that's words to live by in this relationship, at least. Maybe not in your relationship at home.
No.
Maybe assume that your partner is capable and intelligent.
Right. But not here.
Nope.
All right. Well, we have a lovely marriage moment submitted by a listener. They write, "Hello, Allison and John. Longtime fan of Allison, I've been thoroughly enjoying Starter Marriage, especially because I was on the point of getting married myself. The big day was last weekend, so I can finally share my marriage moment.
Wow.
On the morning of the wedding, we were both running around trying to get last-minute bits done. One of our wacky wedding ideas was to get guests to vote on the 2 different cookie brands that we were giving them for dessert. I prefer one, and my now husband prefers another. We had the great idea to start our marriage off with one of us winning a contest, because what better way to begin than with a clear victory?" This is so us-coded.
It's so us, yeah.
It was a silly idea, but it gave me a lot of joy. I ran out of time to do all the tasks I had given myself, and my makeup artist arrived. So my husband spent an hour cutting out individual tokens out of cards for people to vote with because he knew it was important to me. I knew I had made the right choice. And by the way, in the end, I obviously won because my preferred cookie is far better. That's like when you picked a good one.
Now, I followed up with this person when they emailed the account, and I said, was it a type of cookie, like a chocolate chip cookie versus an oatmeal raisin cookie, or was it like a brand of cookie? And she said it was a brand of cookie that like the cookie that she likes, I'm doing this off memory, but it was like kind of thick and more cakey kind of like.
Ooh.
And then the one that he liked, I think she was a Brit, and the one that he liked was more American, like thin kind of cookie. And yeah, I mean, her cookie sounds better. But she did say that at the end of the event that there were leftovers of her type of cookie, or I guess at other events, maybe when they've had it, there's leftovers of her cookie, but his cookie always gets eaten. So there is a bit of revealed preference, maybe.
Oh, that they wanted the bride to win?
She was throwing, well, the revealed preference meaning that like people, yeah, maybe they're saying they want this, but then when they go and they actually have to eat it, they wind up with the cookie, his cookie. And so
well, maybe that one looks more appealing, but tastes worse. So more people take it.
I don't remember the person's name, but please run a series of experiments right back into the thread, and we'll keep everyone posted about what you learn about these cookies.
And share the brands, and we can do our own. We can run our own analytics.
Absolutely.
As Starter Marriage audience.
Absolutely.
That'd be huge for us. We're always looking to expand. If you want to submit your marriage moment for us to share and potentially pull people off of, you can send an email to startermarriagepodcast@gmail.com. That's startermarriagepodcast@gmail.com. John, had you ever heard of relationship OCD before we met?
No, not at all. I thought you were making it up.
Do you understand what it is now, though?
Yes, I do.
How would you describe it?
So it's like you're in a relationship and suddenly you start having all these intrusive thoughts about, is this the right person for me? Do I find them attractive enough? You're obsessing over whether or not you're in the right relationship.
And it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And I wrote a whole book about it.
Yes, you did.
That comes out next year. Obviously, like, we all have unwanted thoughts like that sometimes. But if the thoughts get really stuck, if they cause you intense distress and you spend hours spiraling about them, you might be dealing with more than typical relationship doubts. You might have relationship OCD, which is also called ROCD.
Real OCD is nothing like the stereotypes about liking things organized. It's a serious and highly misunderstood condition where unwanted, distressing, and intrusive thoughts get stuck on your mind on repeat, and you feel compelled to engage in certain behaviors called compulsions to make them stop.
Right. So, like, For me and my contamination OCD, my compulsions often look like cleaning, but someone that is struggling with relationship OCD, their compulsion can look like every day asking their friend, like, do you think that we're right together?
Right.
Do you think this is the good relationship for me? Do you find this person attractive enough? Should I find them attractive? And it can really wear down you mentally, and it can just like really negatively impact your relationship.
But it doesn't have to, because OCD is highly treatable with the right kind of specialized therapy.
Yeah, like what's interesting about OCD is that the type of therapy that is most effective is called ERP therapy, or exposure and response prevention, which is not standard talk therapy, which can actually often make our OCD worse.
NoCD is the world's leading provider of OCD treatment. All of their licensed therapists truly understand OCD and specialize in treating it with ERP.
I actually decided that I needed ERP to help our relationship.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because of our OCD, but because of how much my contamination compulsions were interfering with our life.
And it helped you so much, and it helped our relationship so much.
Therapy with NoCD is 100% virtual, covered by insurance for over 155 million Americans, and includes support between sessions, so you're never facing OCD alone.
To learn more about starting OCD therapy with NoCD, go to nocd.com and book a free call to learn more about how they can help. That's nocd.com.
As someone who has been in and out of therapy since I was 4 years old and is a mental health advocate, a relationship coach, I'm constantly being hit up by my friends for therapist recommendations.
Seriously, you should get a cut of you should be like a therapist agent.
But what's so hard is that like people have different insurance plans, and a lot of therapists don't take insurance. And so like while I know some wonderful people, they're not like going to be the best fit for everyone. And also you have to find a therapist in your state.
Right, because you're having mental health difficulties. And then on top of that, you need to find someone who you trust and someone who you can afford. And sometimes it can just feel really overwhelming.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people stop looking for a therapist because it is so hard to find a therapist.
Yeah.
That's why it's so awesome that Rula exists, which is a healthcare company that partners with over 15,000 therapists and psychiatrists nationwide, letting you have a personalized solution and find the right therapist for you without having to do so much heavy lifting you give up on the search.
And with affordability, the average copay for clients is $15 per session, with some people paying as little as $0 depending on your insurance.
$15 per session is like
wild.
It's just like it feels magical.
Yeah. Therapy changed my life, and having someone every week who I trust, who cares about my mental health journey, has just improved my relationships, my professional life, and that's what Rula wants to do for you.
And Rula is committed to supporting you every step of the way, from finding the right therapist to helping you schedule appointments and monitoring your progress.
Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. So head on over to rula.com/starter to get started today. After you sign up, they ask you where you heard about them from.
Please support our show and tell them our show sent you. Go to rula.com/starter and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares. Welcome back to Starter Marriage. It's time to pop the question. This is the part of the show where we deep dive into the main topic of the episode, which this week, how to raise a boy, and more specifically, our son.
So we could just feral, just sort of let him roam, throw him fish heads,
Ugh. Well,
in his
speaking
crate.
of, that's you've already hit the nail on the head in one of our biggest controversies.
So let's start off with that controversy.
Okay.
And I think food, what he eats, his diet, is a bit of a controversy between us, because Allison is a vegetarian and feels very strongly about animal rights. You love nothing more than animals. Is that fair to say?
That's fair.
And
maybe that Dubai chocolate.
Yeah.
That you didn't get me.
Oh my God. She's never gonna let it go. So And I was
hate animals.
I actively torturing them in the basement.
Oh my God.
No, I eat some meat, but not a ton. I mainly eat you think I eat a ton?
I think you eat a good amount of meat.
I think I eat way less than your standard American.
Really?
Yeah, I absolutely. I mean, I mostly eat fish.
Okay.
First of all, and then chicken is kind of rare, and like maybe once every couple weeks, and then red meat. It's like kind of like when I just can't resist, like a smash burger at a place I like, or whatever, or meatballs. I love meatballs. But so I think that this little boy, we should basically give him an omnivore diet that is mostly plant forward, but kind of give it all to him. Basically, he should eat what I eat. He should eat like what Dad's, plant forward kind of Mediterranean diet with a couple of like exceptions here and there. And so that he doesn't feel like he's being deprived of anything. He doesn't feel like, it doesn't like steak and red meat doesn't become this like huge thing in his mind when he's like seeing other kids eating it. And then as he like, the brain comes more online, if he's like you, or he's influenced by you, and he's like, you know what, I love animals too. There's always dogs in our house. I want to be a vegetarian like Mom. Then that's like totally okay with me. But I feel like, what is the default choice? Because like parents, he doesn't have a choice at the beginning. Like, what is the default choice? I feel like the default choice should be kind of like the healthy, but omnivorous diet. So that's my position, and you don't feel the same.
Well, I feel like my position is already rather flexible, given my my preference and the way I view the world. I'm not insisting by any means that we force our child to be a vegetarian. What I've said is I would like to food at home remains vegetarian. So when we are feeding him at home, that it's stuff that I could eat too, that it's plant-based, that it's, we obviously make sure that he's getting tons of nutrients, but like the reality is a plant-based diet is like more than enough for a person to be healthy and nourished. And then if he is with friends at school, wants to try something, wants at a restaurant, wants to get chicken, wants to get steak, fine. But I don't feel like I need to cook meat in my home for my child.
So let me ask you this though. If we're like ordering in or something like that one night and I get chicken, I ordered in some chicken last night. We were together. So Dad gets chicken and he's not allowed it?
I mean, it's also difficult, right? At what age, right? So
right.
I feel like, first year of his life, I feel like there's no need to introduce him to meat products. Like, like first year, it's mostly like just to like get them used to things and making like what they like rather than like they're getting their nutrients from that. So like why like would I need to introduce like chicken when I can just be introducing vegetables and fruits and those sorts of things? And then as he gets older, we see what he wants, right? Like this is going to be my answer to a lot of this conversation. Yeah. But if he's a kid who's like, I want chicken, give me chicken, that's like a different scenario than I'm like, hey, do you want to get the mac and cheese? And he's like, sure. Right? It's like, what level of resistance is there?
Right.
And then if it is easier and he's fine being more of a vegetarian in those situations, then like, great. Which is like, honestly, what we do with you, right? Like you only really order the chicken when it's like, you really want it. But like often your default is to not do that.
Right. Or like, what about shrimp? What about fish?
I mean, similarly.
Because I eat a bunch of fish, and I feel like it'd be good if he liked like a little salmon or something like that early on. It has good things in there for him, things that are harder to get on a plant-based diet, especially if it's a kid and he just wants like mac and cheese as opposed to like kale or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm open to like doing fish sticks if that's really important to you, but fish, I'm more lenient on the fish side than any other type of animal meat.
All right. Well,
I also think that like we're moving towards a place where it's just so easy not to. Like there's so many other options. There's like substitutes. There's like, I mean, it's not like as difficult as it would have been 20 years ago in the Midwest to raise your kid without being on a meat heavy diet.
All right. Yeah. I mean, especially if he likes beans and things that have protein sources. I can absolutely see that, but yeah, I guess we'll see what he takes to, what he likes.
It's like a lot of Jewish people stay kosher at home,
Mhm.
but aren't kosher outside of the house.
Right.
And so that's like sort of the framework that I would like to at least try until
Right.
we see if like for some reason he's not getting the right nutrients or he's like so mad at us about that.
Right. All right. Well, we'll see. He's gonna find like loopholes. He's gonna be like, the grill is outside of the house.
But see, that's him. But that's him showing huge resistance to it.
Yeah.
That's him. Like,
So you're saying you're not gonna be like lying in the sand.
no, it's
kind of
it's
thing,
my
yeah.
starting point.
Yeah.
I want to start there.
Yeah.
And then we see what happens. Is it feasible? Does it make sense? Is it causing so much tension and like
Yeah.
resentment? Then you adapt. But I don't think that I preemptively need to introduce meat into the home.
Yeah.
Before I know if like that's even necessary.
I see. Yeah, I suspect there's going to be social pressures, like other kids doing it, and that's what's going to pique his curiosity more than like some innate desire for chicken. And so
But that's why it's out of the house, right? When he's at his friend's house, he's not going to have to be like, I can't eat that. He can eat whatever they serve him.
Right.
Or, he's at a birthday party, but like that's different than like that needs to be like what I purchase and buy and give him.
Right.
It's so funny because you read that whole book about how plant-based diet is better for you.
I believe that, but I'm I've sort of like just sort of take like the Mediterranean version, and so I do think it is good for you, and I think it is. I'm all for people on plant-based diets. Like I just think that.
I'm not even vegan. I'm only vegetarian.
Right. I just think that the default for the kid, I'm just thinking about like, you when you say no to something, kids want it. And like that the default it makes more sense to be like, you and daddy have the same diet, which is my diet is already quite plant-based, that he would be omnivorous, but mostly plant-based, as opposed to him kind of wrapping his head around a specific diet. I'm an adult who like read books and like made a conscious choice, as opposed to this kid who's just like, coming into the world with not having choices. And so giving him the most sort of like neutral but healthy and plant forward option made sense to me. But
yeah, I mean, look, but like, right, like you might love Indian food growing up, but your parents never cooked it in the house.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like there's stuff that you make at the house and then there's stuff that you eat outside of the house.
All right. Yeah. Look, I see what you're saying. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what kind of kid we have. If it's anything like his grandfather, he's gonna want immediately a pot roast. All right. Technology. What are we doing there? Screen time, access to AI.
Oh my God.
Are we going to get our child implanted with a Neuralink?
So, I feel like often in these discussions, you kind of jump ahead to the kid being older, whereas I focus more on like the first couple of years.
Yeah.
Because like, I just think the world changes so much.
Right.
And again, you have to like know your kid.
Right.
But so to me, the bigger question with the technology piece is like, how much technology are we going to use as parents to like take care of our kid? And I feel kind of strongly that I want to be like low tech when it comes to that stuff. Like I don't want to get like that sock that you put on your kid that like tracks their
monitors
like there's all this tech now for like to like really be like attuned to your kid to like track how often they're doing this, track how often they're doing that, and I don't really want to take part in such a thing.
I actually agree with you there. I think that a lot of that is like to like soothe anxiety, but actually in fact just creates it. And so I think I'm with you there. And I love technology personally. So I think we're aligned there. What about in terms of like screen time and a phone, or like what's your philosophy there?
Well, screen time, I'm going to do my best to delay our son having access to screens as long as I can.
Yeah.
And so I say that now. I'm sure there are parents watching this that are like, good luck.
Yeah.
But like, my goal is that like, for the first couple of years that we really try to not introduce screens.
Yeah.
And that like we're mindful of like if the TV is on that he's facing the other way, or that like he doesn't, that he's like not given our phones or whatever. I say that never having been a parent before, not knowing like what my breaking point will be, not knowing like how difficult my child will be to soothe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a kid that's pretty affable and easy to soothe, you might not need to resort to like an iPad.
Right.
But if your kid screams at the top of their lungs for 3 hours every single day, and the only thing that works is you give them an iPad, like that's just a different situation.
Right.
And so, my goal is to introduce screens as late as possible while like recognizing that like that might be harder to do than I anticipate.
I also wonder, and again, I'm also speaking from a place of total ignorance of like, what are you doing on the iPad? Like, are you just like passively experiencing content and like that's the point of it to pacify them? Or is like, are there certain like apps that are, I don't know, educational or like, that actually could have a positive effect on them? I don't know. Like I suspect it's just like a digital pacifier, but I also suppose it's like how frequent and how and like what you're doing with it.
Yeah, I mean, my goal is like to always bring things for the kid. Right.
Yeah.
But like the goal being that that's not necessarily a screen. So if we're going out to a restaurant, we have coloring books and we have toys and we have things for him to do. But that like, that's like phase one, right? Like like we start there and we hope for the best. I mean, similar approach to the food thing. Right. And then as we get to like older, that's again, it's like so tricky because the state of the world is so unstable right now. I mean, like, I don't know what the world is going to look like in 10 years. And so, like, I don't know what social media is going to look like. I don't know, like, what AI is going to look like. I don't know, like, what will be accessible, what's not. I think for me, what's really important is making sure that he has a rich life offline.
Let me ask you this. So I'm totally with you that we have to be like, it's so much depends on the kid and so much depends on what the state of technology is, what the state of the world is, but just for the sake of conversation. Mm-hmm. Say he comes to you, say we let him use ChatGPT for whatever.
How old is he?
I don't know, 5, 6?
I'm not letting you. How's he going to use ChatGPT when he's 6 years old?
I don't know, 8 years old.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay, fine. 8 years old. He's using ChatGPT. They're using it in school. I mean, come on. These kids are going to start using it pretty soon. Like, even if we're not introducing it to him, I bet some kid is going to show it to him. Just say that.
Okay.
He comes to you and he says, I have an AI friend. One of my friends is an AI.
Yeah.
How would you behave? How would you respond to that?
I mean, it's terrifying, right? Like that child that recently died by suicide under the encouragement of the ChatGPT. I would make it very known that this is not a real person.
Yeah.
And that this is...
So you would sort of, you would be like, that's not a real friendship.
Correct. I'd be like, this is like an imaginary friend. Mm-hmm. This isn't the same thing as a real person. Mm-hmm. And that they're not real. Mm-hmm. And that like, it's okay, and I would also require access to the conversations.
Me too.
And that I'm hoping by then there are way better parental controls that like don't allow what happened to continue to happen.
Right.
But I think with technology, one of the main things we need to teach him is that it is not the same thing as a human being.
Right.
And that you can't, while they are helpful for information, they should not be where you're getting your emotional support or your friendships.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then part of that is making sure that he's getting that somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
What would you do?
I think that I would try to explain to him in the best that I could to an 8-year-old what ChatGPT is. Like I'd have to think about how I'd probably have to ask ChatGPT how explain ChatGPT to an 8-year-old. Like that, it's like taking like the mean, essentially. Like I'm hoping like there's enough literacy by the time that he's like starting to engage with that, like at a younger age, that these systems are like basically just math and like taking the mean responses to various answers and then like predicting text that like that I even wonder if a lot of the worries about children in the future are overblown because perhaps they will have a better and earlier understanding of what these systems are in the way that like we had a better understanding of certain technologies than our parents, that they won't think it is different than a human. I mean, the question is, of course, like if it provides you emotional comfort or whatever, could it still be?
But you already see people having relationships with AI.
But what I'm saying is like I wonder if a younger generation, maybe not our son, he might be too old in that sense, like maybe someone younger than him. But if society, it'll be so in society at that point that he'll have a literacy that the people who are 40 and falling in love with AIs don't have about ChatGPT, and therefore it would be really hard for him to fall in love with a chatbot. Or maybe the chatbots will get so good that it'll be way harder. I don't know. But I think I would try to explain to him that it's okay if you receive some like positive effects from interacting with this technology. I'd also have to think about what those effects are, because our next thing can be education, and you know how much I think I value critical thinking and like developing parts of your brain. That's okay, but like there is no substitute for human friendships, human connections, and human thinking. And so I would probably think maybe along the lines of like, it's okay that you have this AI friend, but you also have to spend as much time with your human friends as you do with your AI friends. And then I would hope that over time he would just be like more interested in spending time with humans. That's like my like guess at this.
I would feel very strongly not using terminology that implied that it was his friend.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Like interacting with an AI.
It's like your game.
Yeah. Your game, yeah.
Your
or
game,
your technology.
you're right. Like your app, but it's not your friend.
Yeah. All right, cool. So he's not taking an AI to the prom. That's not okay. Oh my God. What if he marries an AI and then it's like a repeat of our whole relationship, where his mom doesn't approve of who he's marrying because she's an AI.
But again, like what has led him to marry an AI? Right?
Yeah,
like,
you think
clearly
it's
like something about like for that to be the right decision for him. I don't know. I mean, maybe there are people where that's the right decision for them, but starting from scratch, I'd say that that's less likely.
Yeah.
But if he moves in certain directions or has certain needs or certain limitations, and that's the way he can be happy, okay.
Maybe we could have like AI in-laws and stuff. It would be really interesting. Okay, education. So
doesn't matter.
This is probably one of our biggest things in terms of values. I value education so profoundly.
You value traditional education.
Expand upon that.
Like you value the good school to great college pipeline.
I deeply value a liberal arts education. No, let me say a rigorous liberal arts education. I believe it in my bones. That it is good for the human mind, and if we have souls, our souls.
See, I argue that it's great for a lot of people, but it's not the right fit for everyone. And I also think that there's an overimportance on like where your school ranks.
Yeah.
That isn't necessary.
Yeah.
Like I could care less if our kid went to an Ivy League school. Like if to me, it's like, how does he feel fulfilled? How does he feel like he is expanding on his strengths without like being constantly like reminded of his weaknesses? And so I think that sometimes it can be like this pressure cooker where it's like you have to excel at all of these subjects in all of these ways so that you can get to the right college, that your life will be good. And I just feel like there's so many different paths to a good life that it's not just like directly reliant on that pipeline.
Yeah. So we differ in a couple of ways here. One is that, or let me say it in a way that I think we're aligned. I am not going to freak out if he doesn't get into like a top 30, undergrad university. I'm not going to freak out. The thing that I'm less concerned with the result of like what school or what grade, and more concerned with the process of doing it. The process of like taking difficult classes and doing your work and like taking the tests and like forcing your mind to think critically and rigorously about the topic at hand. That is really important to me, because I think that is something that is like there's not enough of in this country, and we're too focused on outcomes and what your salary is out of college, and that like really learning how to think critically is a profoundly important skill in your life. Like philosophy majors like make considerably more money than a lot of the other liberal arts professions do. And a part of it, I think, is that like philosophy majors are like it's it tends to be a difficult degree. And also you have to like wrestle with things and decide what is true and false. And you understand that like so much of what people say is like actually regurgitated stuff that people have been saying for hundreds of years. And so like you just like see the world in a critical way. And so it's less important to me that, he's like the valedictorian and goes to Harvard than he is that like he actually challenges himself. And, the one thing is I do think that yes, I think this is a difference that we do have, is that yes, you can live a perfectly happy, fulfilling, and successful life outside of college. And I suspect you might be more right by the time that he is making those decisions. And so I'm open to my opinion changing on this. But there just like are like economic differences between college graduates and non-college graduates. And like those have like knock-on effects. And like the thing that people like to point to is like Silicon Valley outliers. And it's like, yeah, if our son is like a tech whiz and like founds like, the equivalent of Facebook.
That'd be so cool for us.
Yeah, it would be amazing for us, right?
I could get a pool.
And doesn't want to like go to college for that, then that's different. Or is like a athletic whiz, which is probably even less likely given his parents. But I
was a 4-year varsity tennis player.
You were.
And then my body fell apart.
And so, they're just like, I just would want, like there are just like, that will have consequences. There will be jobs and opportunities not available to him if he chooses that. But getting to your, and so I guess I just believe that more.
I think you believe that there's more consequences for not following a certain path than I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is a difference in opinion. And then, to me, what feels the most important is that he reads.
Yeah, me too. That's super important to me.
We've talked about, but like,
which might be tough,
but like to me, like, I just like, I think if you like to read and if you enjoy learning, then like that just opens up such a world for you where like that doesn't necessarily mean that like you have to be a good test taker.
Yeah.
Or you have to like excel in this like pressure cooker, like academic environment. So like if he was like getting like B's and C's in school, but I knew he was like doing his work.
Yeah.
And then he was like loved to read, I'd be like happy as a clam.
Yeah. I might be like, well, maybe a traditional school isn't right for him. That's when I would start to think like, maybe what is he curious about? And like, how can we foster that curiosity in a way that is like productive? Because I think most people like find topics interesting, find certain things about the world interesting. They might just not like fit into that cookie cutter of like traditional school, like you're saying. So I'm like open of like what school looks like actually, and like what even like a college experience looks like, more than maybe I was a couple years ago. But like that he is doing difficult things and flexing his mind, I think is important. I think it's important for every person. And so why would I think that my son is any different? But I mean, I'm sure people will disagree, but
I'm just trying not to have like a strict framework of like how he has to be other than like kind.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Like to me that's just like I just want him to be kind and to love himself. And if like I feel like if we have those two pieces where he like values himself and is like empathetic, compassionate person, then like how wonderful. And then the rest of the pieces of who he is, like you like it's unpredictable and like I can't guarantee him a happy life even if he gets into Yale. I can't guarantee him economic stability even if he is a philosophy major, right?
Well,
like
maybe he should take economics. Yeah.
But like, do you know what I mean?
But
Like I can't promise him that if he does this thing, it will lead to that. And I think that that's very much the narrative that we grew up with. If you do this thing, then you'll be rewarded with that. And that is gone. And so now I'm really just like, well, what are the things that I know no matter what will be rewarding for you?
Right.
And it's, liking yourself and having healthy relationships because you value other human beings.
Right. Yeah, no, I think so. And I think that's why I'm trying to like focus it too, not on like the outcomes that you are guaranteed as opposed to like, this is good for you. Like in the way that like exercise is good for you. Reading is good for you. Like doing work is good for you.
It's like
it's nourishing
rather than A leads to C.
Exactly.
I really don't want to be like if you don't play soccer now, then you won't be able to play in college, and then you won't meet the person that will give you a job, and then your whole life is screwed.
That's total BS. Yeah. No, we're totally aligned there. We're totally aligned
I
there.
don't think that any of the real like decisions that you make like as a child, like yes, they have ramifications, but I just think this idea of like you're screwing up your life, like there's very few things that really screw up your life forever.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to like put that over him.
No, I'm completely with you there. That stuff I feel like is more about like soothing again parents' and anxiety about their child's future than it is really about like you can't control like all those things.
So I think let's end on discipline.
Okay, discipline.
Who do you think will be more of the disciplinarian?
That's such an interesting question.
It's a trick question because the answer that I'm looking for is that it's a shared responsibility.
You're going to be the disciplinarian. You're already setting traps for me.
No, but I actually think it's a mistake if it's a sense of like, oh, I only, dad's you're gonna be in trouble with dad. You're
good
gonna
cop,
be in
bad
trouble.
cop.
I think it should be that we are a unit and we have the same expectations and like guidelines. And I think that like there's so much discourse around like what parenting technique is like the most effective. But I feel really glad that I got my master's in psych before becoming a parent, because I think otherwise it would be like very easy to feel pressured into like this gentle parenting structure that's like very hip and of the moment. But like all the research says that like authoritative parenting is actually like a real sweet spot, which is like you have expectations, you have like boundaries, but you also are focused on their emotions. It's not like punitive.
Right. It's not authoritarian.
Right. But it's
you are an authority.
Yeah. And so, cause like kids need structure, right?
Yeah.
Like, and kids like, it's okay to have expectations for what is and isn't appropriate at certain places. That's different than saying like, hey, you're not allowed to have emotions.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, you're crying in this restaurant. Well, let me take you outside until we kind of like get calmed down.
Right.
I'm not going to be like punishing you for being upset or whatever, but like, we don't get to stay in the restaurant while you're screaming.
Right.
And so that sort of like feels like how I kind of wanted to approach things. And the other thing is like I think it's really important that if we say something, we stick to it.
Yeah. Like your words have meaning.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, if you throw your fork one more time, I'm taking your toy.
Yeah.
And you can't say that 4 times.
Yeah.
If you say that 4 times, they don't believe you.
Right.
So it's like, and it's you regulating your emotions, right? Like, I'm not going to scream at you if you throw that fork another time, but I am going to take your toy.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's the way that, like, again, ideally, I'm hoping to navigate it, where, like, we say something once and we stick to it.
Yeah.
And so they understand that, like, what we say has consequence, but without it being like we're unregulated in response, like that, without it like us being mad at them or shouting at them or like punishing them based on our emotional reaction.
Yeah. Well, on that point, we are totally aligned.
Do you think we'll be able to stick to it?
I hope so. But maybe we should review, like, maybe if we have episodes once we have this child,
If we're doing a good
we can
job.
come back to this and say, well, this is how it worked,
I'm
or
screaming
this is
at
where
him
it
all the
failed.
time.
Yeah. But I think it's also like being kind to yourself when you do snap and stuff, because people are like that. But yeah.
Okay, well, now it's time for our final segment of the show, my soon-to-be patented game show, Stay or Leave, where I present you with a hypothetical situation of something I might do in the future, and you decide if you would stay or leave me, because marriage is a choice, not a trap.
A friend of mine recently texted me, big fan of the show, said, marriage is a choice, not a trap, but stay or leave is a trap. Every week is a trap.
Maybe. You find out that I have been running a manipulation campaign on our 4-year-old son so that he never develops an interest in baseball.
Oh my God. Leave.
This includes me calling baseball super boring and what wusses do. I have also spread misinformation that swinging a bat too much could make your arm fall off. When you confront me about this, I explain I was only doing it to protect our son, because if he did play baseball, you would be out of control and too invested, thereby ruining all of our lives. Would you stay or leave?
Easiest one I've ever had. Leave.
Really?
We're gone. Me and our son are gone, and we're going to the Cape Cod League, and he'll do wood bat summers, and we'll get his pitching arm up to snuff, and he'll be a lefty, obviously, because we'll train him from the moment he's born to do everything with his left hand, and he'll get to the show in the majors, and he'll be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he'll say, I just want to thank my dad who got me away from my wicked mother who tried to prevent me from doing baseball. I love you, Dad. And also, here's a house for you. Here's a new house for you. He bought me a house. I was like, I already have multiple houses that you bought me. And he's like, here's another one.
So what I'm learning from this game is I should probably leave you now.
Too late.
Before our kid even finds out what baseball is. Well, thank you all so much for joining us for another episode of Starter Marriage. You can watch this full episode on YouTube at youtube.com/justbetweenus. Really dynamic kind of body language things.
Would you say that there's
happening.
like a sort of sexual tension?
Not today. And if you want to submit your marriage moment, you can send it to startermarriagepodcast@gmail.com.
And please remember to rate, like, subscribe, send to your friends. It really, really helps this show and helps us keep doing it.
And if you want to hear more of our thoughts on life, love, the pursuit of happiness, you can check out our Substacks. John's is incredible. It's called Wrong Man for the Job.
And Allison's is absolutely wonderful. It's called Emotional Support Lady.
And as we say in our home, good night to me, the Alibaba.
Good night to you, the Alibaba.